confidence in his mid laner slash jungler slash all-around teammate as we're already jumping in now to the ban phase. We've got Kha'Zix and LeBlanc banned away first and foremost.
All right, a jungler focus already here. Team Envy, we talked about, they may have a different look at the bans. Right now, FlyQuest are going with the standard though. They are the red side, so probably follow up with some Camille. I'd rather let Rengar through than I would let Camille through, so save that one. And maybe there's an off chance, something else goes through. But I would just expect Team Envy to continue with these target bans. Kha'Zix is the first one, and then switching over to support role here.
It looks like it's actually going to be Team Envy that decides to take Rengar off the table. They want to make sure that they don't give FlyQuest the opportunity to move that around.
And it happens. Remember we talk about, the expected is the Rengar, Camille, LeBlanc from red side. But remember, Envy are playing a mid laner as their jungler. So he might not have a lot of games on Rengar. Right. And as good as Rengar is, if you don't play the champion, if you don't have that history or anything, then maybe you don't feel comfortable first picking it. This is a first pick that I definitely expected from them. Flexible. They love flex picks. They always have loved flex picks, this team. And Malzahar can go mid or bottom.
Previously wasn't a flex pick, but now in this new day, this new age of League of Legends, we've been seeing a rise of him in the support role. He's going to be interesting depending on where they play him. And Rise, of course, is that last ban as well.
Yeah, and the other thing about Malzahar and why I really love him as a flex pick, because one of the supports that you really like to pick into Malzahar, if you think it's going to be that support Malzahar, which is the majority of the Malzahars are played in support role, you would want to pick up your Zyra, right? She's amazing support. She can harass him from long range. She can get past the Voidlings. So she's quite good against him. However, if you flex him to mid, you can then counter pick the Zyra with an MF support, which has to be, picked after a Zyra and is only used as counter pick. So it's this tricky mind games here. Those are the 1, 2, 3 step process that we're talking about here with the multi-phase bans. But meanwhile, we're going to move along here. We'll revisit the Malzahar after those second ban phase and after Envy decides exactly what role is going to go into.
In the meantime, it's FlyQuest going to go ahead and decide to go towards that top part of the map first and foremost with their rotations. Balls will be locking in the Maokai for himself as Moon picks up the lead.
And then meanwhile, we're already jumping ahead to Envy on the Jayce going into the Malzahar, or into the Maokai, as well as one of those top tier AD carries. We talked about it before the break at the very beginning, but the AShe and Varus are the top two, and then slightly below them, the Jhin, and then Ezreal starts to come in, and there's those types of things. But if on one of these AD carries, AShe or Varus is picked up early, I feel like the other team just has to at least answer that role, because there are no other AD carries that get pushed up onto that tier, and FlyQuest aren't going to let that happen, so they immediately answer. The AShe and the Varus are going to go head-to-head. I think we'll be seeing that matchup quite a lot on this patch.
And you have to expect that answer, considering now, for those of you who might not be used to this new system, might not be used to how 10 bans works, after those first 6 picks, now we're going to be entering into the second 4 bans, and expect these to be heavily targeted towards the roles that the enemy team has not yet selected for themselves.
All right, so that is looking at jungle there for Envy, still yet to be picked up. Actually, since I'm throwing out all the curveballs here for Envy, we can prep the jungle Malzahar. Still a possibility.
Okay.
Was definitely much more popular a couple months ago.
Right.
But if you're definitely thinking about, oh yeah, Envy really want to throw these curveballs, Jayce's possibility of going mid and Malzahar's possibility of jungling is yet another little wrinkle. The reason we prep these kind of really far out there flexible picks is because Envy have actually done them, and they did them last year. A lot of those, very less popular ones, let's say. Meanwhile, though, we have finished up the second ban phase. You can see there at the bottom of the screen. It was the mid lane target from Envy, and as we expected, the jungle targets from FlyQuest, resulting in that Corki pickup here for FlyQuest.
FlyQuest going to be grabbing that for themselves, and those specific bans in phase number 2, in case you didn't pick them up on your own, it's going to be Rek'Sai and Elise banned away by FlyQuest, Syndra and TF taken off the table, as Team Envy now has to think about what they're going to be doing for their final pick, locking in Orianna as number 4.
Yeah, so this Corki, because there's already a Varus on the table, you're thinking that that is probably going too high. Very strong mid laner at the moment right now, pushing and can get a little bit of a health and wave advantage. Once you get that package, can try and make plays across the map. Hai is one of those guys. Yeah, his shot calling has always been highlighted, but he's also super aggressive in the mid lane, just laning phase, and then loves to roam around. He doesn't stay in that lane to dominate usually. He likes to take his presence and move elsewhere. The package for Corki would let him do that. Meanwhile, a very standard pickup there, and he'll be into the Orianna. And we have completed everything. The Malzahar will be standard support here, and Karma was picked instead of the, Zyra was already banned. That's why.
Yeah, Zyra got taken out
thing
way back at the start. So Zyra's out, Karma is in, Lemonnation going to be playing that one, and of course the last pick that we didn't comment on, the one for Envy, Olaf there in the jungle. Ninja's going to be rocking that in his off role. All
right, so the Olaf, one of those reign over specials, is going to be in the hands of Ninja, and he has a decent amount of games on the Olaf there in solo queue at least, so some practice there, and we'll see how Moon can perform on this Lee Sin, because a lot of eyes, as we said, are going to be on him to step up right back in the LCS. He's the newest member of that FlyQuest team that did play through Challenger with contracts, and now making their LCS debut.
For the first time in 2017, these two teams are going to be taking to the field. They both have something to prove. They're both looking to walk away with a win today, go up to that juicy 100% win rate that you can claim after your first game. We'll have to see which one of the two is actually capable of making that dream a reality. As you can see, the coaches shake hands, and we're just about to load into Summoner's Rift.
All right, so we need to catch up a little bit on this champ select because it went fairly quickly here. Seraph is running the Jayce in the top side, and that is the champion. Remember, he is the shot caller up there. He's going to be split pushing, and he's always the one been managing that. So he's going to try and keep tabs there. Place Ninja in the correct places so that he can actually apply pressure up on the top side without, getting collapsed upon.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. We are on to Summoner's Rift for the first time for both Team Envy and FlyQuest in 2017. Make some noise as these teams make their way out here and show us what they've got in their opening game of the split.
All right, let's see here. Fanning out across to the river, defensive openings. Doesn't look like we're going to have an early level one. Maybe possibility of a delayed invade. I also like to watch bottom usually if it's just fanning out like this because the mind games of who's sneaking into the brush first definitely do apply. You don't want to face check a Malzahar level 1 because Voidlings dropped on you can kill them, kill you pretty much all by themselves as they spawn their brethren. Not going to happen here though. Lemonnation does check that brush with his Q.
We actually saw some of the consequences of that yesterday in the EU LCS with the face check into the Malzahar and the Voidlings blowing the flash so early. It was really scary.
Definitely true. Lemonnation does get his ward, and he's claimed the bush. Also gets that first attack as well as gold in the bottom lane.
Just going to find a single auto attack there in terms of the damage. Of course, Hakuho's shield going to be blocking out the first part of that inner flame.
Meanwhile, while there was action technically on the bottom side, we did have Ninja sneak over, get that ward into the red buff. So he'll be alerted that Moon is starting red, but FlyQuest, aren't going to be caught unawares as he had to walk over a ward to place that one. So Moon knows that Ninja knows that he's starting on the red side, and both junglers on the top side. Olaf very clearly definitely needs to start blue. There are some strategies where you can start on a red buff and do something a bit risky early on, but blue is so much safer, much higher percentage start for him because he really does gain so much clear speed for it. But here we go, that's that aggressive mid lane style we're talking about.
Hai and Alex each already trading blow for blow back and forth here in the mid lane, even at level 1. They're looking to get that early edge over their opponents, just find any kind of an advantage they can take.
Meanwhile, as we track Ninja, Olaf does get low in the jungle, and Moon looking to take advantage of him already as he has slipped in Lee Sin and stealing the red buff right now. You can't see it, but he's just been able to get it and gets out in time.
Blast Cone, baby, gets himself out over the wall, gonna be perfectly safe. Moon makes his escape, grabs that buff, and he's heading right back into his own jungle, just a little bit better off.
Yeah, straight buff to buff there, wanting to get that just in time. There's two options there. You can try and go for the kill as well. Olaf, as we said, does get low, and we have a trade in the mid lane. Does burn his summoner very early there for Hai to get some extra damage. And yeah, he did, win that trade, but down the exhaust now if he does get ganked.
Hakuho going to be eating a little bit of damage down here in the bottom part of the map. Lemonnation now backing himself away as Apollo and Hakuho doing a pretty good job for themselves so far. They've got, of course, a slight CS advantage for the time being very early on in this lane. Going to be shoving that one up and taking control of the bottom part of the map.
Yep, Hakuho and Apollo have the in-wave advantage. Malzahar getting that harassment down. Now, we have seen, I'd say the majority of Malzahars are maxing the Voidlings first, but you can also max the E. And a couple of players have done that as well for the guaranteed harass, especially if it is range versus range and you're not expecting super close all-ins, but we'll see here. I'm still expecting Voidling max as they are incredibly powerful, and that's where most of the support Malzahar power does come from.
See the ping coming out now in the top part of the river from the blue side. Going to be pinging Ninja towards that Scuttle Crab. Moon's already hanging around there though too. Might see a little bit of a contest back and forth between these two over this area. He's going to be the one who gets the jump on Ninja. There comes your Sonic Wave. Resonating Strike. Not quite going to be doing it just yet. Jumping back in. Ninja trying to get himself away. If Moon can find the damage here, not quite going to be there just yet. High's going to be jumped on. Get ready, Phosphorus Bomb being turned around. FlyQuest looks to get their guys out of trouble. AlexEach again, this time to be forced to flash away. Sonic Wave, Resonating Strike, Phosphorus Bomb.
One more
Fly
Q.
needs one more. Can he find an answer? It's going to be no. FlyQuest misses their chance, and somehow Alex is alive.
Chaos there as Olaf, if he gets caught by Lee Sin down a level with Lee Sin having double buffs, very scary. And you could see he was so close to death there because Olaf does not run a flash. But man, he was able to escape using that blast cone. That was the only thing that was going to save his life there, is just able to not only get the jump, but he also had to knock away Moon as well with that. Just getting the jump makes it very easy for Lee Sin to land his Sonic Wave. And he actually was able to knock him away at the same time, so that follow-up wasn't there. But man, Alex almost ended up paying the price for that little mayhem that we had going up the river. In the end, first blood's still available though.
Yeah, it's 5 minutes into this game, and we have already seen 2 clutch blast cones. One for each side. One got Moon away after the steal, one got Ninja away after that tussle in the top part of the river. So the Season 7 plan really making their impact so far in this game as Hakuho continues to shove this bottom lane wave up into Lemonnation and the rest of FlyQuest's spaces.
All right, let's see how Ninja gets back on track here on Olaf. Remember, he is a level down versus Lee Sin, and Lee Sin is actually quite good in that matchup. If Olaf is low, you can catch him with the execute damage. Meanwhile, it's all about, extra vision though, because Olaf is no slouch in the 1 versus 1. And if he's heading into it with full health, he can fend for himself just nicely.
Ninja going to be grabbing this bottom lane Scuttle Crab, bottom side of the map, I should say, Scuttle Crab to help his team. Because, if you've got your bottom lane constantly shoving up like we've seen Apollo and seen Hakuho doing, grabbing the Scuttle Crab keeps him safe.
And look at that vision game as we're talking about it. We've got a lot of vision down there. Pink wards included around that mid lane because Alex had to burn both summoners in this game already because of all the chaos. So a lot of extra support here around that mid lane to make sure that they can get him through this phase until his escape summoners come back up and he can try to play a little bit more aggressive.
Team working together nicely just to make sure that they don't put him in any sort of a hot spot that he does not want to be in. AlexEach also now has the ultimate up and running, going to be exhausted. There comes your play. Moon's looking to make it happen. Can they do it? Yes, they can. First blood for High.
Not safe enough. Getting hugged down on the bottom side. Didn't hug by his pink wards, and right in the middle of the lane. Really good heads-up play there by Moon. Revisits the summonerless mid laner. Orianna gets taken out pretty easily as High uses his exhaust for that extra slow as well. And FlyQuest grabbed that first blood.
Great job from Moon. He had the ultimate in time, and now it's going to be balls into instant trouble. Axes cut down trees, and Ninja's going to be finding kill number 2 this game. Ties it all up.
There it is. Ninja answers very quickly here right off the bat. Meanwhile, Moon does have extra information. He just saw Ninja up on the top side, immediately invades down here on the bottom. It was past a couple of wards though, so don't think he'll be able to get much done as Envy do collapse and defend Ninja's jungle.
Envy says, you fool us once, that's our fault, but you try to do it again, this is not going to end up happening, as now Lemonnation going to be on the wrong receiving end of some of those Voidlings, running himself away as the Malefic Visions tick away. Gets himself back, another blast cone usage. Not necessarily imperative this time, but sometimes they're just fun to use.
Voidlings, super dangerous, tongues wagging. Able to get away right there, though. And Ninja still just trying to catch back up in experience. Now he is equalized. Still a little bit of a lead for Moon, but not a full level, so at least he has access to that ultimate and a bit more ability to escape situations where he is surrounded. High being handed over that blue buff, and the skin here with some extra shiny missiles for Corki in this version.
Skin is so cool looking. I really like that Corki skin, and now that he's got the blue buff, now that he's got level 6 as well, those rockets are just going to be pouring into mid.
Mid lane definitely still going to be, hotbed for action. However, Alex's summoners are coming back up, so maybe it is Envy who gets to turn something around. As you can see, the vision is still split with FlyQuest top side double pink and Envy bottom side that High's trying to clear out now. As we said, High does like to roam around quite a lot and wants to use that package, those shining missiles there for Corki, but it looks like it's going to time out, and he isn't able to make use of that one.
It's the problem with the package. Sometimes you just can't find a good delivery spot for it. You got to wait for the next one to come up. But meanwhile, it's actually going to be Moon who looks towards his first Drake, trying to make that happen solo. Alex each absorbing some of the burst from High here in this mid lane, showing exactly what he can do with that blue buff. And it looks like Envy's going to be none the wiser as Moon picks up a free objective for his team. Yeah,
big pickup there with the first Drake. And High, that aggressive mid lane style we're talking about, is able to abuse it with Corki, jumping in continuously onto Alex. Knowing that he now has his flash back up for High, he's going for these little bit riskier plays. And man, that's right into the face.
High, very brave, very audacious as Lemonnation going to be bound up. Ninja looking to turn things around. Flash away from the shockwave. High's going to turn that one right back in their faces. Envy drops their jungler.
Beautiful bait there by High. Catches Ninja unawares, and that's that execute damage we talk about. High got him with the Phosphorus Bomb as well as auto attack combo, and then Moon gets to reactivate Q for a bunch of extra damage. They take him out before he can even react, and that means this mid lane pressure is rolling straight through the mid turret.
FlyQuest doing an awesome job himself so far, but it's going to be balls jumped on yet again topside. Does not matter though. High's going to grab turret first blood.
They are surrounding him. Hakuho's headed up. He just uses ultimate in the bottom lane though, so not really much you're going to be able to get there. And High is actually safe, not blowing any summoners, and able to pick up the last minion wave as well. All right, so let's take another look at this semi-risky play, but as I said, Flash just came back up, so that's why High's playing so aggressively yet again. And he baits Ninja in here, even though they have the Orianna Shockwave, easily flashes it, and then the turnaround combo there. Again, Olaf, main weakness, not a flash jungle champion, so once he gets baited in, pretty easy to land those, and Moon does land his Q, so able to follow up there and get the extra kill. FlyQuest with a nice early lead for themselves here versus Envy.
High and Moon showing some awesome teamwork there too, always being able to make these plays happen, seeing what they can do, getting themselves ahead, 18.1 to 16.5 thousand gold, so a modest lead, 11.5 minutes in.
Now, meanwhile, in the bottom lane, there is still that CS lead. We visited early the pushing power there of the AShe and Malzahar that Apollo and Hakuho are using. Slight CS lead for themselves down there, and those are two of the guys. Uh-oh, he does get snared up, though.
As Apollo's going to find himself caught out. Chain of Corruption lands 100%. There comes the counter. Hakuho will not be there in time to keep that AD carry alive. Seraph looking to make his way in. Not going to find Lemonnation just yet, as that ends up being a 1 for 0 so far. High in the back lines, trying to snipe somebody else off if he can, but that's going to be it for now. Moon. Nope. Gonna go ahead and bail.
And that's actually a really good position for FlyQuest to use the teleports here. Both teleports are burned, but the wave up top pushing into the turret of Envy, so they're not going to lose out there. That wave is going to bounce off the turret, plus FlyQuest have pressure in mid, and they get to push in on the bottom side as well. That being said, Seraph on Jayce, as you would expect, he's grinding down this Maokai, he's earning this CS lead, and this is a bit bigger of a CS lead than I would expect even with a Jayce versus Maokai matchup, though you do expect the Jayce to get that extra damage and extra CS bullying him pretty early on. But let's take another look at this as the AD carries do trade ultimates after Lemonnation already caught him, and Lemonnation is able to finish the kill. Plus, with that flash, able to avoid the damage, able to escape with his life, and a pretty big pickup right there. Envy trying to fight back, but Moon's already moving into their jungle and laying down these deep wards to see any of those comeback plays that EnVy are trying to come up with.
I really like these aggressive moves coming out from FlyQuest, looking to use this advantage they've built for themselves so far. And the biggest thing standing out to me right now, if you look across the bottom part of your screen at those item builds, the first big item we see coming online is Trinity Force for high, and that is a huge power spike.
Yes, sir. Yeah, classic Trinity Force power spike coming in. He's also almost level 11. Moon gets hit with the arrow.
Gonna be finding himself caught out, tries to jump away to safety, but Ninja is just rampaging. Gonna be finding one. Not quite going to be able to make it two just yet. Fly high, trying to mount some kind of a counterattack, but not going to get it just yet. Ninja gets himself away alive, but it's going to be a 1-for-0. Moon going down, and EnVy punishing some of that aggro with a nice snipe from Altec. From downtown, he secures that blue buff.
Yep, able to secure the blue buff. Going for some harassment on Apollo as well, but I'm able to land that one. I mean, High does have his package yet again, and he actually didn't use it going into the jungle there because they don't have too much deep vision, but then made a half roam down bottom. Wanted to see if Seraph would stay extended, but Seraph also recognizes and backs off in the bottom lane. Now he's going aggressive with his red buff and chunking down balls once again.
Also thought he was in kind of a troublesome spot earlier. Now that Seraph's got the red buff up and running, it's going to be that much harder. Altec going to be using that Chain of Corruption top side, forces Apollo to flash away from it, so a little bit less safety for him now.
Yeah, always great value there. Nicely aimed and does force the flash. Ashe now a very vulnerable target. Only has the heal to rely upon as Malzahar is also out of exhaust summoner. Could get spicy up here.
See what the junglers decide to do about that. Both of these junglers have opted into a tracker's knife as well. Going to be prioritizing a lot of that vision, which you can see a lot of now in the northern part of the EnVy jungle.
And we have to keep, reiterating here. Seraph, he's going super aggressive. He's bullying this Maokai and getting a CS lead, but then he keeps backing off as soon as High starts to roam. Because Seraph knows High's playstyle. As soon as he leaves mid lane, looking to make a play on the other side of the map, and Seraph's sort of tempered aggression has been able to keep it safe so far, but now the Drake is spawning, and he's outnumbered heavily on this bottom side of the map. So EnVy, I think, 100% give away this Drake, and it's going to have to be Seraph escaping here with his, he's not going to be able to escape. Cancel the recall, and I might be able to grab it.
Oh, this is not going to be good news. Seraph tries to fling himself up into the air, at least take somebody with him, but it is not happening. FlyQuest, they're going to take the kill and the dragon.
Stays a little bit too long that time. Tried to recall in the brush, but Balls went to go check, found him out, and not only are they going to give up that dragon, which they pretty much 100% already had to give up, but they are going to be trading the turrets as well here. So mid lane push developing for FlyQuest as they want to get even more pressure, and EnVy are forced to recall.
Going to take the FlyQuest gold advantage up to about 2,500 now with a 4-2 kill advantage, 2-1 turret advantage, and of course 2-0 on the Drakes.
And especially if you look at the team comp here for FlyQuest, they have such an early sieging power spike. That Trinity Force you talked about with Corki is a huge part of it, but Varus, very good early siege as well. He's got this Essence Reaver for a lot of extra mana, and he will be going with the Q max build in this iteration, so he's already got that piercing arrow up to level 5, and they can group very early on, use this early gold advantage to try and snowball. Infernal Drake spawning next is huge for FlyQuest in continuing to snowball this game.
Between the piercing arrows and the rockets from Corki and the inner flames from the Karma, it's a lot of stuff to have firing at yourself, and it's going to be very difficult for EnVy to weather that storm.
Very true. And we got to look at it from EnVy's point of view here. Apollo is the man to make the play. They have to get some pick here. Hakuho, yeah, he does have Malzahar ultimate, but that requires a member of Fly face checking. So most reliable thing, nab somebody with the Ashe arrow and try and get some picks to get back into this game. They're trying to get that first step done with the vision, so you can fire your Ashe arrow from the Fog of War, increasing your chances of hitting so they don't have as much time to react. But EnVy now definitely getting a little bit more desperate as they look for one of these numbers advantage picks so they can try and get some gold back in their pockets.
Coming this far into enemy territory, though, just got to make sure they're careful about doing that. Every chance they push up, they're again putting themselves in danger for maybe Moon or Balls or even Altec with his ulti to make some kind of a play.
Definitely true. They have to be very careful right now because, yes, FlyQuest have a pretty good lead right now, but it hasn't snowballed really out of control yet. Once this next Drake does spawn and the Infernal comes up, if EnVy contests it and die plus giving it away, that becomes, and Ninja actually might be sniped.
Real close. Not going to be done, though. The heal from Apollo thrown out clutch to keep that jungler alive. They will lose the tier 2.
That's some more gold, and it continues to grow here for FlyQuest. Very quick game here. As we talk about the returning members, this was a classic of High and the classic of Cloud9 when he was on the team. When they get an early lead, it's constant objective to objective to objective right across the map. Boom, mid lane secondary turrets down. They meet up with the second push down bottom. This one almost goes down, huge amount of damage on it, and they are not letting up.
Absolutely not. FlyQuest has no intention of allowing their opponents any sort of breathing room. They're not going to be going back until they're forced back. And right now, that responsibility is on EnVy to try to find some kind of a way to force them out. Shock Blast finds its way there, but it's not doing a lot.
Yeah, exactly. The problem for EnVy is that they kind of need FlyQuest to lose track of the Orianna ball, because the only initiation for EnVy is the bottom lane, right? The Olaf running straight at this team will just get melted. So it has to be Ashe Arrow and Malzahar ultimate used as, you know, sort of offensive tanking there, where you use that crowd control to deny the incoming damage. Not able to find a spot where they can get an arrow past Maokai, so they just try and hold on here, farm up some minions, and we fully expect FlyQuest to push the tempo again.
And as this game is going on, we're starting to see a couple of more items come online. A lot of armor penetration for Seraph. The Black Cleaver into the Last Whisper going to be looking to break through that front line, break through that Maokai, and see if he can make any kind of a dent in these guys.
Definitely think that Seraph and Apollo are the two guys here for EnVy that do have a chance to try and turn this game around. Those are the two. There's a lot of pressure on them because Seraph has a lot of the gold, and then Apollo has to make the crucial pick there to try and get them right back. But FlyQuest, immediately, they turn their sights towards the last outer turret. Should be the easiest one to knock over for them. And again, we mentioned the siege. You mentioned all those poke abilities that they're going to be using, and they're coming through here as they focus up on the top side. High, doing most of it by himself, actually, and the arrow misses.
Arrow's not going to be finding anybody. High has to back himself up just a little bit. You saw his package expire there just a moment ago, so that's not going to be available for this fight as Moon looks for some kind of an angle, but isn't going to be finding it just yet. The push continues. This turret, so very close to death.
Yeah, Seraph down in the bottom lane is actually going to trade turrets, I would opt for, because when you're down like this, the best call you can make is actually just to trade objectives. You can't really take that heads-up fight, especially if you're getting poked out beforehand by all of these missiles and arrows that are coming through. This is something that you do have to go contest, though. And luckily for EnVy, they've got a ward here, so they can call through the teleport of Seraph. They're waiting a while, though.
They've got to make some kind of a move on this one. TP's going to be channeled. Altec bound up. Ultimate use. Hakuho looking to stop him. Ninja looking to get in there. If he can! It's going to be Hakuho exploded first. Fly winning this fight. Alex Each exploded. Ninja's going to be exploded almost. One more rocket's got him. A killing spree for High. The last shock blast not going to be finding anyone. They might not have got that Baron, but they got free for nothing.
Oh man, yeah, this is definitely a High shot calling at its finest, right? They don't hesitate. Yeah, it's only 21.5 minutes, right? But they force this because they need to keep the tempo up, and they're just expanding on their lead here. They force the teleport out of Seraph. They pull this Jayce back over to the Baron pit. They immediately turn on them as well. Key is that you don't stay DPSing the Baron when you see this. Immediate call there. They get off the Baron. Balls here on the Maokai, playing that front line, is able to zone off a lot of the damage while they take down Hakuho for the first kill. And even though that was a great ultimate from Alex, he got 3 in the shockwave. Super good kick there from Moon, by the way, on Lee Sin to finish up this team fight. And FlyQuest don't lose a single person in that fight, using the Baron just to bait in EnVy to try and have one of those gold advantage 5-on-5s for themselves, and then finally pick up the Infernal Drake.
Infernal Drake going the way of FlyQuest, and like you've mentioned so many times already, no flash for the Olaf. He's got no way to get in there, no way to try to contest that except maybe throwing an axe over the wall, but I'm pretty sure Moon's Smite is going to be keeping that nice and safe.
Yeah, it definitely would be a suicide steal. So many times, too, we've seen Olaf pop the Ragnarok just to run through, because you can pop it and be immune to CC, but you can't go immune to damage, and he just gets burned down. And in fact, you take more damage when you pop it, so would be super duper risky. Yeah, their only option was to go for the fight. They tried to make the call to go for the fight, but well played by FlyQuest, and they are able to keep this ball rolling.
And we talked during the Champion Select and even before the Champion Select about this game, about how these guys are LCS veterans, even if the team itself is not an LCS staple name. And Hai is showcasing this team's ability to be decisive and pull that trigger time and time and time again, and I'm really liking how cutthroat this team looks.
That's why this is one of the guys that just keeps coming back. Roll after roll, you know, team after team. He's able to play through Challenger, back in the LCS once again. Here's the double pink-warded Baron, starting it up. They do get hawk-shotted.
Are discovered. FlyQuest got to be careful about this one. Hai's going to be peeling out, providing some kind of an escape. Alex each eating a couple of rockets, and FlyQuest decides it's not worth it, not right now. Going to be backing themselves away.
That's right. And EnVy fans, you know, don't despair. This is definitely you guys playing with a sub. So, you know, not the ideal situation, but some things have gone well for them. You know, Seraph was able to abuse this Jayce matchup as expected. And the bottom lane also able to abuse their matchup a little bit in the early game before the rest of FlyQuest did collapse. But aside from that, they have not been able to keep up with the tempo here of FlyQuest. Right after the early invades, they have rolled right through, starting with that mid lane, high pushing, and they've just kept it going ever since. Now we have a moment of respite where they go back to purchase, and QSSs will start to come in. Even that, you know, AShe and Malzahar ultimate seem less and less likely to turn this game around as Hai got his eye on the enemy win conditions and starts to eliminate them.
It's a great itemization pickup. I mean, honestly, if the enemy team's win condition is stun out Hai, and Hai can no longer be stunned out, got a little bit of an issue there for EnVy trying to find some way to win this. Moon, Dead Man's Plate up and running means he's going to have a lot more ability to close distance and position himself properly to make a big kick. The next fight starts, but now it's going to be Baron yet again.
I like how they're just leaving the scrying orb trinket there as well. It's turned off by the control ward, so you don't even need to kill it. And it gives 0 warning to the enemy. Even if they had warning, it would still be super dangerous, as we've already seen, for them to go contest. So they give it up, and I actually go for the pick.
Package going to be delivered. QSS used. Hakuho deleted. And FlyQuest, third time is the charm. They've got the Baron. They've got the pick onto one of the enemy players. EnVy running their AD carry and their top laner away for dear life. Moon's looking to follow this, but he's got to be careful. Rest of the team not exactly nearby if he overextends into this one, but EnVy has no response.
Yeah, not even defensive use there. Hai immediately picks up the QSS, maybe 30 seconds later activates it as he goes in with the package. This man definitely still has it. And it looks like FlyQuest marching their way to a very strong victory in game 1. They're looking for another pick, and Seraph gets himself out.
Running away yet again, Apollo again going to be using that heal to keep an ally alive. That time might not have needed it 100%, but wanted to be safe rather than sorry. FlyQuest continues mounting the pressure in this bottom part of the map. Going to be split pushing with Hai mid lane. One more auto attack from the minion takes down that inhibitor turret, and now the inhib itself wide open.
All right, they've got bottom lane pushing as well. Baron empowered cannon minions are doing their work. FlyQuest taking down 2 points at once as the inhibitor starting to take some damage from Hai's Trinity Force as well.
Hai's got balls there right with him, making sure he keeps it protected. There comes your Enchanted Crystal Arrow. QSS or not, he's going to be safe. Alex each has to flash himself away, just trying to stay alive. Moon's going to be taken low. Ninja, Guardian Angel is up and running, but he doesn't want to lose it for free. Inhibitor's going to fall, and FlyQuest finds their mark and gets the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah, a little bit low on HP after that one, so they're going to go purchase after everything that they've been playing. Remember, they were able to weaken a little bit that bottom lane inhibitor turret, and the super minions going up the mid lane will help them out a lot with revisiting that objective. 1 minute on this Cloud Drake, which they should also be able to add to their collection.
And they have a really nice collection so far. 3 Drakes compared to 0 for FlyQuest. 3 different ones, of course. They're not exactly stacking the same bonuses of any kind, but after the Baron, after that massive push into the enemy base, FlyQuest enjoys not only a dragon advantage, but an over 7,000 gold advantage. They got 4 more turrets than their opponents. Any metric you want to measure the state of this game by, FlyQuest is doing it, and they're doing it big.
Yes, sir. Definitely a good start for them. Remember that it is against a substitute team, but man, really like the opening here. High is 4-0-2 on this Corki. He's been pushing all game long, has had control for the entirety of the game. Moon's been, you know, bullying out Ninja as his early wards placed have helped him make some counter plays onto Ninja and take away a lot of the jungle threat, enabling High to play that aggressive style. It's really come together quite nicely for them. And that mid and jungle really carrying them thus far.
Here we go again with the 4-1 split push. It's going to be High in the bottom lane, being the one who has to fare on his own. See if he can take care of this. And it's not even going to be a question anymore. We're not seeing if he will. We're watching him do it. We're bearing witness to High's amazing ability to take over and completely take control of a game. Inhibitor number 2 now under pressure as the top lane tier 2 is going to be completely surrendered. EnVy will give that one away, no contest, as now it's their final standing inhibitor turret that will be under pressure top lane as the inhibitor takes blow after blow bottom side. Seraph can't fight for this.
Yeah, it's going to go down in front of his face. Balls gets ulted.
They're going to blow a lot on balls, including the Orianna ball itself, but he's still going to blow it away. AlexH deleted. Now can they find anything else? Moon's going to be popped. They're going to take down balls as well. 2 for 1. They grab the GA on Ninja, though, and Fly's coming into the backside. He's going to grab Seraph. Looking to make even more happen. Altec not going to get the piercing arrow. Who needs it? Double kill for High, and FlyQuest, ladies and gentlemen, they're on to the Nexus turret. They're going to be on to the Nexus, and that is going to be game 1 in this series. Going to the old school Cloud9 squad, the new age FlyQuest boys. This is a team.
Yes, they are. And the Nexus turret going down. What an explosive victory here for FlyQuest. Just barely over 30 minutes, and they're going to take game number 1.
FlyQuest has got to be feeling ecstatic about that. There was no point in the game where it looked like they were losing control. There was no point in the game where you were like, I wonder if FlyQuest is going to end up doing something wrong with this. It was just one after the other, after the other, after the other. Good calls into good plays.
Definitely so. Kept up the tempo all game long, and a lot of it did, you know, come from the mid lane and from the jungle. There were a couple good plays there from EnVy. Visit to the top lane. Seraph was pulling balls. You know, they had Ninja come in. They were able to get a kill there, but not able to put a stop to the momentum that FlyQuest built so early on.
FlyQuest has definitely shown themselves to be the team to look out for in this series, at least. They showed EnVy what they were made of in game number 1. And going into game number 2, EnVy's going to have to kind of revamp the strategy a little bit.
Yeah, definitely true. We'll see what else Ninja does have in his bag of jungle champion pool, because this one was definitely a little bit risky. And Moon abused him with the Lee Sin, a lot more mobility. Went in there with an early counter jungle, you know, buff to buff. He saw you ward on my red buff, so he knew that the Olaf would be unsuspecting. Red buff to red buff is a very long distance to traverse, the longest for a jungler in the early game. So it's one of the least expected moves. Because Moon did have that ward, though, and saw the entry, he knew that it would be unexpected and a high percentage play, and he was able to pull it off.
Talking about big moves here, we've got a replay of the 22-minute 3-0 Baron fight that Fly managed to pull off.
All right, let's take a look again. This was the Baron play where they just wanted to get out the teleport and then immediately turn. You can see Maokai's tanking the Baron, so they didn't even get anyone low before the fight. Hakuho goes in and he does ult Altec and had a bunch of Void Leagues on him, but no follow-up damage, and he's pretty much by himself, so he goes down first. Good shockwave from Alex, but High is putting out so much AoE damage on this Corki, and no one can really get past Maokai after that. Moon had that pretty good kick there for the knockout, and even though they actually got a couple low there, some good shockwaves on the end from Seraph to hit backline members, nobody was able to get the execute, so pretty big snowball there for Cloud9. And as you said, the shot calling really complemented their early game lead as they were able to take objectives very quickly right after that.
And every time they went to the Baron, even though we didn't see them take it until the 3rd attempt, those first 2 attempts, it never looked like they were in any real danger. They always made the plays happen. They always did what they needed to do. And right now, we're going to be taking a quick break while FlyQuest and EnVy strategize for round 2. But before we go, Cyrene gave us a look at some of the preseason